Standing by. Here we go. Welcome. You're watching Tags Live. I'm your host, Steve V. Talk about gay sex, the live version. This is episode 248. On this Wednesday night, we are here every Wednesday night on the Get Vocal platform on the Connection Zone. We welcome everybody that's tuning in from our pre-show, all of our fans that are looking at it now, everybody that listens to the show, welcome. And hello to my co-host, my BFF, Cody Maurice Doggett. How are you?
That's me. Hello, darling. I'm doing well. How are you doing tonight? Cheers.
Cheers. I got a bigger straw.
Well, you like suck it more than I do. Wait, what?
Yeah,
Where did that
go? you're not wrong on that, really.
I'm sorry. I couldn't let it go.
You could not, and I'm not mad at it on this Wednesday night. For all of you listening to Tags Podcast that comes out on Tuesday, you'll know that I was talking about our health, how important that is, and I had my colonoscopy yesterday because I turned 50. And it's one of those things like, happy birthday, you're 50, get a colonoscopy. No, not in that order. We did have some fun in Mexico as well. But yes. All good. I can report all good. There was the tiniest of one polyp, according to my doctor, that tiny, like we all, I think, get them. And he said it was microcosmic, removed it. And he said he'll see me in 5 years. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good news.
I woke up from that nap because they put you out. Okay. And I woke up immediately and was fixing my hair and opening my eyes.
Did you drool? Is what I want to know.
Because I kept hearing people ahead of me. This is a system they got going in there. There was two people ahead of me, and by ahead of me I mean a gurney where they're lined up. My gurney, as I'm lying there, is right next to the door. They said, oh, Dr. I'm not going to say his name, but is right there, and you're next. They open it up. Lady Gaga's playing on the radio in there. The nurse.
That is perfect. They know their audience.
Comes out. She's like, oh, are you our next victim? I mean, our next patient? I said, yes.
No, she did not.
She didn't say that, but she might as well have. So then they... because they sedate you, right? They put you under a little bit. And all I'm hearing is, it was a woman, right? So, Mary, wake up, Mary. Mary, wake up, Mary.
Not Mary.
I had heard from...
Not Mary.
Mary. And the person before that, Charles, wake up. Charles, wake up. Because, they're panicking like, this motherfucker better wake up or else.
Right?
But, so I was convinced I'm going to go under, but I am going to wake up immediately. So so as they gave me, they found
the plans you make.
They found this vein here in my hand because I have veiny hands, which I actually don't mind that. I kind of like my veiny hands. Shout out to everybody that has veiny hands, but. And so they put that's where they gave me the IV to put me under. And when I told the doctor, I said, oh, I'm feeling relaxed, was the last thing I remember saying. Ow. They did whatever they want on the back door. And then when all I heard was Steve, and I was like, yes, hi, how did it go? Is everything good? I'm fixing my hair. I'm opening my eyes, my eyelashes up to make sure, because I did not want to be Mary and Charles. And I
You'll always be my Mary, okay?
They rolled me off. I was getting in my clothes. I got the 411 that I'm okay. Everything's good. I ran off and got a bagel sandwich. I was happy and everything was good. So anyways,
beautiful. Glad to hear it.
Oh my goodness. All good on that. Okay. Well, let's get into this week's hot gay sex topics. And in the news is a guy who's in there twice. He's a news anchor. And I don't know if you've heard of him, Cody, before tonight, but there's a news anchor by the name of Blake McCoy. And he's been in the news twice. So one reason he's been in the news recently was because he posted on Twitter that he was suspended for fat shaming in a tweet. So gay DC area news anchor Blake McCoy, he's been suspended from his job after facing criticism over a tweet about COVID-19 vaccine eligibility. Quote, I'm annoyed obese people of all ages get priority access before all essential workers. McCoy, who works for WTTG, a local Fox affiliate, tweeted Tuesday, when most, quote, when most stayed home, we went into work every day last March, April, May, and every day since, putting ourselves and loved ones at risk. Comment later on loved ones, as we have a different story to follow up on that. Vaccinate all essential workers, then obese. Can you believe he posted that? Vaccinate all people, then obese. Obesity, by the way, is one of the pre-existing conditions that permits Americans to receive early rounds of vaccines for COVID-19 in some states. And that's I think a specific number that, and the risk factors have been shown to triple the risk of hospitalization from the novel coronavirus, according to the CDC. This wasn't the only time he was in the news. So apparently, and I'm not exactly 100% sure in the timeline, but I think on his break, Blake McCoy had something go viral on his Insta story. McCoy alleges he was hacked after posting a full fucking video, although it's not clear whether he's the top or bottom, but it's presumed he's the top. And I showed you the story. And it's kind of skinny, his dick, right? It's long, but
you didn't show me that. I didn't see the video.
Well, we'll post it on TAGSPodcast.com.
You said you showed me the story. I was like, I wish you would have showed me the video.
So apparently McCoy, who isn't out or wasn't before the incident, has had rumors swirl around about his sexuality for a while. Commenting on the video, he said, quote, "Don't let people borrow your phones. Not funny. Sorry, guys." Although many on social, I know, right? And so many on social media are claiming the post wasn't a friend, noting that McCoy seems to be replying to every tweet, even mentioning him. What a week for this guy, McCoy.
For who?
I know. I mean,
I already forgot his
Blake
name.
McCoy. First of all, I mean, sloppy, right? Sloppy to say
sloppy, so ridiculous. Like, who says the things that he said? I agree that you should vaccinate all essential workers, but like, why before? Why is he putting down obese people? Why all of that? It's unnecessary, and you shouldn't have to put other people down to raise yourself up. It's the worst thing you could do.
I agree. I mean, why did that have to come out? That it was so hateful towards and we talk about cancel culture a lot in society right now, and people are so quick to cancel you out. I don't care if he's gay, not gay. It doesn't even matter to me. Who cares? Just get the vaccine when it's your turn. And rule number one, don't spout out hate on a group of people that's hateful. It's not that hard. It's almost like, think about what your mother told you, the ABCs of life. Don't say anything about it to your neighbor. Respect.
If you don't have anything nice to say, come sit next to me, but don't say anything.
Exactly.
Whisper it in Cody's ear.
When you have a coveted job like that, an anchor position, don't get on Twitter and spout out things like that. I just think that's such a improper way to use your platform.
Oh, for sure.
And then go ahead. Yeah.
With social media and camera phones, it's just allowing us to hold people more accountable nowadays. So, because people don't let things slide now, and things can go viral and it can get picked up in so many different ways. So you just, learn. I'm not saying that canceling people is the way to go, but I am saying that it's holding people. I think what you said to me in our pre-production meeting, accountability culture, because and that's what I think it should lean towards. Because if somebody makes a genuine mistake, then I agree that if they hold themselves accountable and they do the things that move them towards growth and progression and more understanding, then they should be allowed to come back into our society. We excommunicating people in this motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree. You know, he's a news anchor, right? Albeit on Fox, right? Where sometimes they lose focus in DC.
He's about to get fired anyway.
But the thing is, he's been suspended. What we do on our podcast and what we're doing for our upcoming Tags TV pilot that we've already shot is what's called infotainment. So we're not journalists by any means, but we're opinion based content, and if we were having a conversation, we might be able to say something like that, but we could get slammed by our audience.
But why?
Right. He's essentially a journalist, though, and no one asked for his opinion on whether or not he thinks obese people should get the vaccine ahead of him. No one asked for that commentary, and it's only going to
report the news.
Let's just move on to the fact that then either when he was restricted from Fox, that he somehow let him fucking another guy happen.
Wow. That is not. That was done on purpose.
But Cody,
you know
on an Instagram story where I take quite umbrage to this whole thing because of the fact that our first Tags podcast, when we called it Talk About Gay Sex, almost anything we posted, we got shut down. And here, and it would have been just like half the time it was like maybe my butt was showing, or maybe it was a little bit too low down my crotch. Okay, well, we're Talk About Gay Sex. We don't do that anymore on Tags Podcast, and we had to rebuild our Instagram followers. I love the followers now, but I think the whole thing is that and it always seems like the white guys, sorry, white people listening, but how do you have such a platform like that you let you fucking another guy get and blame it on somebody else, get on your Insta story? What were your thoughts when you saw that?
I just know it wasn't an accident. Like, I know.
Really? No.
I feel it in my bones that it was not an accident. It was a publicity stunt. So he could have his name in there.
No, I think it was an accident.
I don't. I really, really honestly don't.
Cody, here's the thing about him. He's not 100% out, this Blake McCoy anchor that we're talking about. So do you think it was a publicity stunt?
And now we're talking about him. And I Googled his name, and I want to see the sex tape, and now I just want to know all about him.
Says he's starting a second career in porn. Yeah, he thought it was OnlyFans. Queen says. I got to tell you, we've got a lot of accounts to manage, and they're all Tags Podcasts, though, except for our Patreon account, and it does get a little dicey, although. I double check I cross like Elliot with 2 T's to bring up.
I was gonna bring him up.
My T's and check and dot my I's before I post. And I don't know how you let something go out like that, because I've got some stuff on my phone that is out there. But the thing is, I'm not a Fox News anchor. I'm a host of a podcast that's called Talk About Gay Sex. So even if something did get out, it would be, what are you going to say about me? I talk about sex. I'm open. The whole empire, Tags Podcast, is about gay sex. You don't have anything on me. It's on brand. Blake McCoy's brand is not about him and his skinny ass dick fucking his boy. And I'm just going to say it. It's a skinny dick. It's pointy, kind of pencil dick.
I can't wait to see it. I still want to see it. He's still canceled in my eyes, but I still want to see it.
I'll post this. For those of you watching right now, I'm going to post it in our comments section so you guys get it. and it is in there, so you guys can check it out. Well, let us know what you think about him. It reminds me, though, real quick, we just got a shout out to Alex Beresford, who is the weatherman in Britain's UK morning show, where Piers Morgan, he was, Alex called out Piers the other day because Piers was going off on Meghan Markle about he didn't believe what she was saying. Everything she said was lies in her interview with Oprah Winfrey. And shout out to Alex Beresford, not only because he called out Piers and Piers is no longer on Good Morning UK, but because he's so hot. He's straight, but did you see his body?
He is gorgeous. He's my new crush, my new UK crush. And I know that he's straight, but he's still my baby's daddy. I don't care. I am adopting his kids. I don't know. I'm
check out the link. I posted it in our link right there, so you can check out Alex's body. But before I even knew he had a hot body, wow. I mean, pretty bold to stand up to Piers. And then to see that he's so hot and your baby daddy, I'm not mad at him.
Yeah,
wow.
Me either. I am not mad at him. And to make, not to make, but to add to the fire of like Pierce Brosnan. I mean, not Pierce Brosnan, Piers Morgan.
You knew you were going to make that mistake. It was either going to be
Meghan Markle or Meghan Markle. Oh man!
And it's Piers, Pier, Piers. Yeah, Piers Morgan.
Oh, and did you see the hashtag that they're doing? Bring back Piers. Bring back Piers, but it's spelled, and they're posting pictures of actual Piers. It is hilarious, like the docks on the sea, and it's amazing. So, I have to post a pic of my favorite, of Atlantic City's pier. So,
Bobby ready said, for that, I like his nips. I'm assuming you're talking about Alex's Beresfield's nips, right?
Yes,
Bobby.
Yes.
Okay, good, and not McCoy.
His body is gorgeous.
Not Blake McCoy's. We're throwing a lot of names at you tonight.
I would actually like to put in here about Elliot with 2 T's. I said something about cancel culture being kind of toxic, and maybe if we allow people to grow. Elliot with 2 T's was just in a scandal with like his microaggressions for saying racist thing. I'm using quotes here about season 13 Sisters. So he actually is doing the work. He was in a microaggression sensitivity training with Roxanne McCoy, who is the president of the NAACP in Vegas, and LaToya Holman from the National Equal Rights Advocacy.
I love that.
He's doing the work. He's getting on the right track to actually learn more and grow from these mistakes. So cancel culture should not be about just excommunicating people and not letting them back. If they do the work, then it should be used as a learning tool and a growth tool.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention, because I didn't know about that story on how he had said those things. And
oh no, I thought we discussed this before.
No, I don't think we had. But I think the thing, I love you reporting back that he's done the work, and I think that sounds like serious work that he's done. And work is ongoing, but we never really report on the people doing the work, and I think it's worth noting. I think that's really great that you did that, so thanks for that.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you.
Well, we've got to move on to cancel Jen said.
And Jen also said until it's Donald Dump. Okay. So yeah, she can go to Lonely Island by herself.
Well, it's time for our weekly segment that we've started since we started Tags Live, and it's called Vulnerable Voices, started by a friend of mine, a neighbor of mine, who gave me the idea. Thank you to him. And we asked the question this week: when to let go. When to let go. And it's funny, because when I first brought this up to you in our pre-production meeting, you were immediately like, and even in our pre-show on IG stories, you were like, oh, letting go brings tears to my eyes. And it's funny because I think I'm always somebody that thinks of moving on, and moving on can be a positive experience, and it's about a reawakening at times. But we'll talk a little bit about letting go and how it can be, to your point, sad.
Okay. Yeah.
And just some thoughts, Cody, on loss and when you've had to let go and in recent times. Anything you want to share?
Well, when I was younger, it was much, much, much easier. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. So just being adaptable and not really speaking to friends that I had made in other states. We moved around states. We moved around, I want to say countries, but probably not. So when you live that nomad life, you get to kind of learn how to be more adaptable. But as I grew up older and certain relationships outside of like my natural born family became more substantial, I feel like I became more resistant to change. So I have a hard time letting go now.
It's funny because you just brought up a vivid memory of when I was a kid. My grandmother, I lived in Northern California. My grandmother lived in Southern, and she would come visit us. And whenever she would come visit us, we would have the greatest time. I love my Grandma Mercy, as her name, Mercedes, Mercy. And when she would leave, I have a vivid memory just right now when you stated that of me crying every single time we would drive her to the airport. It was, I would always cry, and I would obviously get over it, but I was a really emotional kid in a lot of ways. I presented one front to the world, and in many of my friends, I was a star gymnast and did well in school, but I was very emotional when I would come home. But I think a lot of those experiences taught me to, with a lot of the work that we do now, is to be a lot more open. But yeah, I mean, loss of life in general can be a whole big thing.
I have a lot to say about that. So.
What about a loss of a path that have you ever had a path? We're going to go through the different, we're going to get to sex in a minute on how that, but
can't wait for that one. We're going to go through this tough stuff first, right?
Yeah, the tough stuff. Let's do the work and we get to the fun, the icing on the cake, the cum on the,
on the cake. Yes.
Sticky and sweet comes a little later, but
the cream in the donut.
Okay, you said it. But have you ever had a life path that you've chosen that you've had to say goodbye to? Well, I'll start first on this.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
I used to want to be an actor for so long, and all my work for a long time, I dreamed of being an actor. I was going to go into radio at one point in San Francisco, California. And then my program director said, you need to be in front of the camera, not almost squashing my radio dreams.
Okay.
Although we're kind of coming back. This is sort of radio. And I know it's so strange, but I love that.
Funny how life comes full circle.
Love that. And I did do the time that I was in LA really pursuing would have been 1998 into 2000. And I had some, some successes here and there, but it was definitely not, I've talked about it on the show before, except LGBT as much as it is now. And although I wasn't trying to be gay or not, I had management that was trying to make me straighter appearing. Of course, there weren't a lot of roles, so people were trying to make, because just by the mere fact of the color of my skin, making me be the drug dealer or the gang member head. And me, Cody, and a good actor is a good actor, and maybe I'm just not. And maybe I'm just not that good of an actor, and it's a good thing I went and didn't. But I don't think I exude gang member and those things. And so, as you can imagine, I had some successes. It just didn't amount to let's continue with this. And I had to say goodbye, or when to let go. I let go of that dream and moved on because I did. Because of the timing, I feel like now I think I would actually be a great actor. But
yeah.
And who knows? There might be some.
You know what?
I'm acting all the time.
It's a shame you were like pigeonholed like that, but because I think that you're capable of so much more. There's like such a scope and a breadth of what people are capable of. So I believe in the power of possibility. So like you never know what you could have done. But I'm glad that you found this path. So
I
continue
did.
what you were saying. Yes.
That's it. That's all I want to. I mean, have you had a direction where you've had to kind of pivot on a life path?
So not really. I'm not. Yeah, I said in the beginning, you were going to be frustrated with me because I feel like everybody should be frustrated with me because I have such a hard time letting go of things now as an adult. I don't feel like there's a time when I feel like I have to let go of a career path because my hopes and my dreams, I'm pretty certain about them. They have evolved and they're ever changing, especially as the time change. I will say that I do get complacent as far as when I was bartending. I was just afraid to succeed or to fail at something that I really, really wanted so much. So
outside of your bartending world,
yes. So of course, I'm very passionate about music. I'm very passionate. I was passionate about acting, but now that's kind of like if the opportunity presents itself, then I would go back and see what it was available to me. But I got really complacent with bartending and I didn't really pursue the music to the extent that I could have or that I should have. And just because I was afraid to fail. So I found it very, very hard to let that go.
Got it. But you ultimately have moved on to a new path in some ways.
I'm here with you. I'm doing life coaching now.
I know.
I'm focused on making new music, so look out for that. So, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to a little more juicier things on when to let go. And have you been in a relationship ever? I'll start off my story. Have I been in a relationship when I knew I needed to let go? And the one thing that came to mind was there's been a couple people that I've been with that I found myself getting caught up in the relationship and whether or not I allowed it to happen, whether or not the person pushed a little quicker for me to get into this relationship, and all of a sudden I'm in this relationship and it's like spinning for me, but I don't know. I don't remember recalling choosing being in it. I've been in that situation a few too many times where I've let it go on when I wasn't sure I really even wanted to be in this relationship. And so I think it's why I'm single more now and happy to be single these days and not so quick to jump into anything, is because for so long I allowed myself to accept someone's storyline for me and dictate someone's storyline of a relationship. And all of a sudden before I knew it, I was involved and I didn't really want to be. And now I'm a little bit more quick to enjoy my freedom. And it's been really easy in this pandemic to do that lately.
Yeah.
And I'm still not ready, but because everything I'm doing right now, I'm so happy with. And health is so important to me, as I just talked about at the onset of this show. Health is so important. My family is so important to me, and my work is so important to me. And my work happens to often involve some of my favorite people like you. So I know. So likewise. I'm getting, but so we'll see. But I'm open to it. But things will be different as I think I'm not afraid to let go of that, and so we'll see though. But I'm open to it. How about yourself?
Now, always, really. I was going to say now, but no, it's really been always. This is the only time that I am that I am quick to let something go, is in a relationship. If I see that something is toxic or that it's not for me, I get rid of it so quick, it's not even funny. I dated this guy one time. Well, I've dated lots and lots and lots of guys. Okay. This particular instance, he showed signs of alcoholism and like abuse of other substances. And it was in the early stages of our relationship, and it threw up several red flags for me, especially because it's something that I've dealt with in my family before. So he showed up at my bartending job, and he was obliterated.
Do not mess with my job. I don't care if it's a job between things.
Obliterated, and he was so high, and it was not cute. And he was with his friends, and they were all in the same state, but they were not as
bad as your boy.
Yeah, they were not as out there as he was. And how
did you handle it?
Okay, so they left him there with me, and I was like finishing up.
They're like, you know what? We're out.
And when I have to deal with things like that, I immediately sober up. It's just a defense mechanism that I have and that I've learned over time.
Well, you were working, so you were sober.
Oh yeah. That's right. I'm a bartender. I have a couple drinks during work. You got to test the product. Come on now.
That's true. Good point.
So I sobered up really quickly. And then I took him home. I took him back to his home, of course. And it was rough, Steve. I basically had to carry him home.
Oh.
It was horrible. And then I got him home. I put him in bed. I slept over. And then in the morning, I told him, that was really scary what happened last night. And I think after that, we only texted maybe about twice. And I just completely shut him out.
Yeah.
I probably could have handled it a little bit different and kind of supported him through it. But my initial instinct was just to dead it because it wasn't looking good.
Yeah, when you get those signs, those red flags, when they're hitting you in the head, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I had a similar situation with the guy on a hookup on Scruff. That we went on a couple dates. We met sexually out and about, and then went on a couple dates. It didn't work out really. Just conversationally, I decided it wasn't a thing that wasn't working for me. And I thought we were done, but every time I would go on Scruff, he would hit me up. And then I was thinking, oh, okay, well, he did have a nice cock, and maybe it could be sex even.
He's pulling you back in.
But it turned into every time I would talk to him, the last straw because it would always get nasty with him on there, on his part. And the last straw was when I said, well, do you want to get together? What would you want to do sexually? And we went through the different things. I said, he said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I would want to do this. How about you? And he said, that's cool. I'll do whatever. And I said, you're right, but don't you have an opinion on what you'd want to do? You have to have an opinion. Everybody has to have an opinion. You have to know.
Everybody likes certain things.
I don't care. I don't have an opinion. And when he said that Stepford robotic kind of thing, I said, oh, that's all I need to know. Goodbye, good riddance. And I still didn't block him because I don't block people. I've never blocked anybody. And I know we're blocking
people when they get crazy. Like if
people block people at the drop of a hat. I can say the word. I can say the wrong word and you block me. But I don't block
I like
people.
The compliments, so I don't block people.
I don't.
She's an attention whore. If they
don't
say
really go on
rude or disgusting, that's when I block them. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, that behavior to me, that sort of flatlined, I don't really care kind of attitude was scary to me because you have to care. People, I have to shake. Everybody in my world has to care. We have to, even if you're sad and down, you care. It was that flatliner thing. And I thought, that's it. That's all for me. We'll never, ever reach out to him again. I still won't block him, but for now, but he may be the first person I ever block.
Oh, well,
Ever.
keep us posted. Keep us
I will
posted. We
keep
want to
you
know.
posted on that when I go back on, when I decide to make another debut back on
She's making her debut on Scrub,
You
honey.
know, I mean, yeah. All right. So we've got to get into, we missed a topic that we didn't really get to, but maybe we'll keep it for next week about transphobic. That's okay.
Oh.
That's okay. You know what? There's a new Reddit out that is pretty juicy, this story.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right. So there's a new Reddit that I was
like,
a
let's do
thread
it.
that I was following. Thank you for participating in Vulnerable Voices. We're back next week with that segment. Moving on to some hot gay sex topics is a Reddit story entitled Am I in the right am I in the right being frustrated or annoyed by my boyfriend's quote unquote straight roommate friend? So a person writes, I've been seeing my boyfriend for about 7 to 8 months now, being more serious in the last 6 or so months, and we get along really well, except where his friend is concerned. Honestly, when I first met his roommate friend, I thought he was an ex. Was really shocked when my boyfriend said he's straight.
Mm-hmm.
When he told me that I wrote off the bond I was seeing at just a deep friendship, given how long they've known each other, but there's just too many things to ignore. I swear so the guy writes, I swear he's into my boyfriend and he damn well acts like he's his boyfriend at times. For example, on Valentine's Day, he brought him flowers and a gift.
What?
Yes. If my boyfriend mentions a sore neck or shoulder, his friend just automatically starts rubbing it. He's literally he's literally stopped what he's doing to do so, even if I'm walking over to do the same. He's even complained that he doesn't get to cuddle with my boyfriend anymore because of me being a child. It goes on. I love these Reddits because they kind of go on and on. It seems like he's constantly trying to meddle in things or keep us from being physical if we're at their place. For example, if we're in my boyfriend's room watching something, he'll knock with an excuse to see what we're watching, then literally wedge himself into the bed with us. Wedge himself into the bed with us without.
I mean, just make it a three-way at this point.
Well, so he writes, which the knocking is a new thing as he's used to walk in, though he still does at times, claiming he's forgotten. He also used to and still occasionally just walks into the bathroom when we're in the shower. They have their own bathrooms, yet he'll make excuses of, oh, I need toothpaste or blank. And it only stopped after bickering about it with my boyfriend, which that's not even the worst part. So the worst part, which I love this thing. I love this show. We get to talk about these things.
It's amazing. I get to be shocked and disgusted every single week. So thank you.
The worst part is when I was in the shower alone and he thought it was my boyfriend. He came into the bathroom saying I was using all the hot water, so he was getting in.
No.
Yes.
I didn't read that part.
So the guy says he's talked to his boyfriend about it, and he still insists that his friend is straight and that they are just really close with no boundaries. That his friend isn't doing these things intentionally. He thinks I'm making too much about it and need to just deal that he's sick of challenging his friendship because I'm uncomfortable.
No, they need boundaries.
So this guy finally asked the question to others, am I in the right? Is this what your boyfriend's friend wouldn't you be frustrated too? The comments are hilarious on this story. You can imagine. What were your first thoughts, Cody, when you heard all this?
That the roommate is sexuality is a spectrum. Okay.
Wait, can I? Will we stop you? Queen says change the locks. Mouth gaping open
on the front door, so he could not. So he's locked out of the house now. He can't get in the house anymore. Kick that motherfucker out of the house.
It's, you know what it sounds like to me is one of those bad Lifetime movies.
Oh, like
the straight roommate. with in quotes, not air quotes, and it would be that wouldn't you
a white
love
female almost.
Wouldn't you love a gay Lifetime movie? Be honest. Do you not find yourself
Let's
watching a
make
Lifetime
it.
movie? I find myself.
I don't.
Oh, I scroll through them and I tape every fifth one, and I just love to see
with Tori Spelling, right?
No, it's always like unknowns and
with Vivica Fox. Vivica Fox.
She's in all of that, girl. Oh my God, she got a contract that I'm not mad at.
She has a whole deal, and I am not.
I'm trying to get my contract over there on Lifetime when we get our Tags TV up on running, and I will gladly play the Big Brother, the police detective. I will finally be the gang member that you always wanted to be, Hollywood. I will play it,
but with the heart of gold that's saving everybody.
Yes,
yeah, I agree with you.
But could you not see that? I mean, what were your thoughts on this?
Sexuality is a spectrum. This guy is probably curious, and he is finding affection in
the wrong places.
And with someone that is in a relationship currently, and it's not healthy, and he probably should go out to the clubs and explore his sexuality there. And it's kind of actually sad because he doesn't know who he is or what he wants from his sexual life.
What does Jen say?
Don't ask Jen. She's
you can't even read it.
I can't. Jen says, boy, bye. He has had them buns done before. So basically he has already had gay sex before, and he wants more. He wants the D again.
I kind of hate to say it because recently we were talking about the new Gallup poll on our Tags podcast. And I think I was talking to you about it too. On more than ever before, more Americans identify as LGBT is the Gallup poll than ever before. But at the top of the list, when they really break it down, is the Gen Zers, which are 19 to, had it.
To me.
No, you're not a Gen Zer, bitch. I don't have it, but they start at like 19. And so the Gen Zers, though, of the world, in talking to my friend who's been in this tumultuous relationship recently, who's with a Gen Zer, and his crew, all the stories I had to hear of his boyfriend's friends that are all Gen Zers and gay, that are not abiding by social distancing, that have convinced themselves that they all have had the COVID and are doing like parties of 40 and more, that I think sometimes in that crew, I admire the Gen Zers for their label-less community. In some ways, and their openness that they have. But in other ways, I feel there's this sense of
they need to live and be more experienced.
Yeah. And I think when stories like this come out, that I feel there's a little bit of a sense of entitlement in some ways. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think I agree that as growing up, they're so much more open. They know so much more. Partially due to the internet.
Yeah.
But I think that they like seeing something on the internet and living it are two completely different things.
Yeah.
So I agree that they probably need to just live a little bit more.
Well, let us know what you think.
So callous.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Well, in further Reddit news, and I love Reddit, it's just so fun to find these because I follow this LGBT one, and it's super fun to weigh in on some of these things. And they asked the question on these. So the next one is a confusing condition. I've been seeing this guy for a few months now, and it's been going really well. We do oral sex at most. He told me he was ready to have anal sex with me, provided I'm not having sex with anyone else to minimize the risk. You know where this is going because the other guy was having sex already. I understand where he's coming from. We're both on prep. I do occasionally, I love this part, I do occasionally have sex with other people, but we haven't spoken about this yet. Is it weird that he's fine to perform oral sex but not anal sex if I'm sleeping with other people? Not really sure how I feel, but I was hoping to get other people's perspective on the matter. So is it weird, Cody, that he's asking the question, is it weird that his boyfriend is giving him head, but not anal sex? And do you think that he really needs to be honest with his boyfriend that he's sleeping with other people? Because to me, he needs to tell him he's sleeping with other people, and he's confusing oral sex with, for some people, anal sex is a whole thing. It's a lot more intimate.
It is, but you can still catch STIs from oral sex, and that's the bottom line, and that's the line I'm standing at. He should definitely tell the guy that he's dating that he's sleeping with other people. It'll make things much cleaner. I know that emotions are involved.
Literally because of the anal sex, but yeah.
And it'll make things much easier. It'll allow the partner to know where they are standing in their relationship.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that, because somebody, Johnny Proton on the thread, says it's confusing for you. He's talking to the person that wrote this. It's confusing for you because you haven't told him you're having sex with other guys. If he'd had this information from the start, he'd likely wouldn't have brought it up and probably wouldn't be sucking your dick. That needs to be the first thing you discuss with him. Not only does he deserve to know, but once he does know, he may not want to discuss the other stuff. Interesting point. I like that.
Thanks, Johnny Proton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're going to
go ahead.
So basically let the guy know where you are as far as the relationship is concerned. If you're not ready to be in a monogamous relationship, don't allow yourself to be in a monogamous relationship, and don't confuse the other person. Don't be duplicitous in your actions as far as dating are concerned.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like you have to have a conversation. Are we exclusive or not? And it's such a basic thing that two people have. Like, do you want to, is this casual? It's such an easy thing to bring up. If we're cool with that, then I am too. And if not, you want to be exclusive, that's a whole different thing. In there comes what we will do. And different people have different things that they consider intimate. So for some people, believe it or not, I've heard like fucking or anal intercourse, whatever you want to call it, is intimate, and they only want to do that. It requires,
that's the first date for me,
from a physical. Okay, me too. Back in the day, but
before coronavirus.
You know what? One person, what a guy. An interesting thing, just to share a little tidbit about a guy that was one of my long-standing boys from the 90s, and then I think I talked about it recently. We reconnected in later years. The one thing that he was really holding his court on was not anal intercourse. He would have that, but whether, and we were both on PrEP, so we weren't using condoms, right? At the time, but it was the intimacy for him was he wouldn't release cum in my butt. Like to him, that was only with somebody that you were totally, I love you stage of the game. And isn't that interesting? Like, and I was
kind of
like,
had to take myself back when you told me that, because I was in full judgment mode when you told me that, because that is for me, and in my mindset, that's full on porn star mode right there. Like,
what do you mean?
Cream pieing. So I feel like,
and to him it was,
and for it's an act of love. I need to get more in that. I need to get more in that mentality.
It's so interesting. It's so, I think what it really comes down to is communication and finding out where someone's at. This guy just needs to talk to him. I've been fucking around. FYI. And if so, here's where I'm at. But if you want to be exclusive, let's have that conversation. And maybe they don't, maybe they're on different pages. Maybe one wants to be exclusive and that's why he's stating all that. And maybe the other one wants to fuck around. And that's okay. But they're
okay. It's
not
all about
on the same page.
Expectations for the relationship. It's about individual expectations for the relationship. So talk to each other. Let your partner know what you expect in a relationship, and in order to be fulfilled by the relationship. This is like Cody the life coach, not Cody
wise
the porn
words from our life coach, Cody Maurice Doggett. And on that note, you can follow the life coach, Cody Maurice Doggett, where? At KMD Coaching
yes,
on
darling.
Instagram. You can also follow him at Mr. with an H, Maurice on
for
Instagram.
The more scandalous things.
Yes, there's always a plunging neckline happening over there.
Or no neck or no shirt at all.
Exactly. And follow us, please, at TAGSPodcast on all platforms. The after show happens and dark and dirty and everything fun for our VIP community over on our Patreon page. It's where you get some extra content for supporting Tags Podcast. You can go to patreon.com/talk about gay sex. And we've got this week's a doozy because we've got the weekly after show. It's a lot more casual. It's a lot of fun. And Cody is joining me on a dark and dirty twice a month show. And this is the week that it comes out. And we're getting darker and dirtier.
I cannot wait. I'll put on my cock ring for you.
Put on your darker and dirtier pants. Or better yet, don't wear anything. Thanks for joining us, you guys. This has been so much fun. This show gets repackaged on all podcasting platforms tomorrow morning. And weigh in on what you think. Thanks, Cody Maurice. This has been so much fun.
Thanks, you, darling.
Listening audience. And continue being safe. Thanks, Greg. Wear your mask. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but keep it sexy, for crying out loud. We'll talk to you soon.